First of all, I would like to welcome each one of you in our Sunday live session today. And my name is Vanshika, and I am one of the co founders of Fraternity. And talking about Fraternity, it is a platform where we share the stories of chartered accountants who have something different than the usual. And the idea is to create a tightly knitted community where every professional can share their scent with respect to their domain. And following the same lines, we have CA Mehar Sindhu Batra with us today. She is a chartered accountant and an MBA, the founder of MSB Vision, and she also is a career coach guiding students on few topics which are very very relevant today, like stress management, anger, mental health, etc, etc, etc. So I'll just take her with me live so that we can dive into the world of CM Meher and know life from her perspective. Hey Meher.
Hi Vanshika, how are you?
I am good. Thank you so much for coming here, and we are very pleased to have you.
Not at all. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So we are very excited today to learn inputs from your end, and I hope that everybody will learn a lot today. Are you excited as well?
I'm so excited. It's such an amazing platform that you have. So I'm really excited to sort of share my 2 cents on my journey and hopefully it'll help somebody.
Of course, it will. All right. So we will just start from the very beginning as to how you thought of CA to be a career option for you and how things happened. So very briefly, just let's just discuss about it.
Okay, cool. So hello to everyone who is here. Welcome and hope you're all staying safe and studying well for your exams that are coming up. So yeah, to begin with, I'll be very honest. CA was never on my mind when I was in school. You know, I just took commerce for sort of because I had two cousins who had done commerce and then MBA. So that was my guiding light in my life. And then when I was in college, my dad always told me, you know, why don't you become a professional? It's so important to have a professional degree nowadays, and BCom is not enough. So why don't you start and at least think about it? So when I joined college, I started noticing that I had a little bit of free time. You know, like BCom is not a very hardcore, intense course. So I was like, okay, fine, let me just take the CA foundation, which was the CPT that time. So I took it after 6 months of being in college, and I got a distinction. I did really well. I mean, I really enjoyed studying for that. Yeah, I did really, really well. So I was just like, oh my God, okay, so this seems like something that I can do. And then after that, one thing led to the other. And then, you know, at that time, you were not allowed to do regular college with CA. So I decided to move to School of Open Learning after 1.5 years of doing regular college. And then I gave my IPCC exams at that time and then got through KPMG. So it's been a journey, but yeah, it's been interesting.
That's great. And also, we heard that you faced attempt in your CA final. So, how was it like, and what was your mindset at that time? Because students get really frustrated and they start with the process of self doubt, which no one can really help. So, how were your feelings at that time, and how did you overcome those negative feelings?
So honestly, like all throughout my school, I was and college, I was always a very straight A student. I never had, got below 85% in my life. So, and then like I did well in college, and I always cleared the CA exams up to finals in the first attempt. So when I reached the finals and I decided to give both the groups together, when I did not clear them in the first attempt, it wasn't easy for me because that was the first time that I actually dealt with failure. And I think it took a toll on my mental health, my physical health. I started, went into my shell of being underconfident and anxious and nervous. But I guess you just have to keep going. And then after that, I decided to give both the groups separately, and then I cleared the next group in the next attempt. And then again my health suffered, so that's why I didn't clear the second group again after that. So it took me a while to clear the second group, only because of this whole journey that I went on. Personally, it was just very overwhelming, but now I think when I look back, those years were very difficult, but they were the biggest lessons that I learned during that time.
Of course. So how do you guide students how to maintain that thing that they should not feel कि अब सब कुछ, they feel as if सब कुछ खत्म हो गया and it is like the end of the world.
I
So
know. I know वो
how to
feeling तो
overcome
आती
that?
है वो तो होता ही है because you know you think that oh my god my life is dependent on this. You start feeling like a loser. You compare yourself to your other friends. But I would just say like if you're in your early 20s, your life is just beginning right now. It's just such a small part of what's to come. So we just have to keep going and keep trying till we can. And if we reach a point जब नहीं हो रहा है, जब you think like this is not, maybe you've meant for better things. So that's a decision you have to take. Maybe if you're giving too many attempts, are you in the right course? Is this a course that is going to be it for you for your career? There's always room to pivot and do something else. So हमेशा सोचो कि ये आखिरी चीज नहीं होगी तुम्हारी लाइफ में. बहुत सारे और प्रॉब्लम्स आएंगी, बहुत सारे और circumstances you'll have to face. This is just a small thing, like it's just the beginning of your career. You'll have so many bigger decisions, bigger problems to deal with, and it will prepare you for that, for those those situations as well. So just
Definitely.
take it as a, you know, I follow this entrepreneur called Gary Vee, and he says find the fun in failure. I mean, at that time, of course, you can't find the fun because you hate failing and you don't want to suffer and go through that. And I don't wish that upon anyone. But think of it, maybe a year or 2 years from now, you'll always look back at that time as how much you evolved as a person during that time.
Of course. And those are the years which, everyone will look behind and with a smile that, okay, we did it. And
Yeah,
we,
yeah,
came. Yeah, absolutely. So
yeah.
how was life post qualification for you?
Oh my God, the day I got my result and I saw pass written on the screen, I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe ho gaya, khatam ho gaya, I'm done. Like I've cleared. My parents, my grandfather, everybody was crying, laughing, jumping. It was just another emotion altogether. And at that time I was working in KPMG. So I quit my job because I didn't think I wanted to do auditing. Immediately. So I quit my job to sort of figure out what I want to do. Then I started making MBA applications. I also worked at EY for a short bit in risk consulting. So I saw the other side of consulting as well. But yeah, after that, the feeling is amazing. It feels like you're on top of the world.
Yeah, of course. And then you started with MSB Vision also. So when did that happen? Was it like in the later years of post qualification or right after that? How was it? And what was the main idea behind it?
So MSB Vision is very recent. I started it 1 year ago. It's only 1 year old. So the idea was that Vanshika, I used to get a lot of messages from students on my LinkedIn account asking for career tips on how, I had done CA and then MBA and then I was living in London. So I used to get a lot of questions like, what did you do? How did you do it? What are you doing now? So I was just like, there has to be some place, there has to be some forum where people can come
Someone
to.
guiding.
Yeah, someone, because I didn't have that. I used to talk to some old family friend from 20 years ago. Unko jaake mile the because they were a CA. Just for little tips. I didn't know anyone because there was no other CA in my family, in my friend circle. I was the only person. So I just felt like, why can't I start something that can help students, because there are similar questions that people were asking. So अगर 5-6 लोग ये पूछ रहे हैं, तो I'm sure there's so many hundreds of students who have the same questions and the same doubts. And then I just decided to make a video on YouTube because I've always felt that a visual way of communicating and learning is the most useful and interactive. So that's why I chose YouTube, and now Instagram is sort of picking up because of that. So that's how it started. That's the story.
That is fabulous, and I think it is helping a lot of students as well, and especially your short videos on productivity and time management. And so they are so relevant in today's time because all of us are involved in like so many things, and it is very difficult to manage time. So
Yeah,
please share
thank
your
you.
inputs also on the same. That how do you manage your time as a multi-potentialite, and how do you figure out your day?
I love that word, by the way. I've learned a new word from you. Multi-potentialite. I think everyone sort of is someone who holds multiple, wears multiple hats and plays multiple roles in their lives. So I think the way to balance it is that figure out what are you doing currently, what is your goal for the day. So, they say don't look at the past, don't look at the future. Think of the next 24 hours. What are you going to achieve in those 24 hours? So, what I would do is I would just make a list of the top three things I want to accomplish in one day. And then, for example, today was coming on this live session. So, that was number one. It had to happen. So, that's one thing I've done. And then, if I'm working on some other content, that's number two. But of course, if you're working or doing something else, then you have to figure out how many hours you can devote to that task and how many hours you have for the other things. And then you have to see what works best for you. It's different for different people. Some people are more productive at night, some people are more productive in the morning. So you have to figure out when are you the most energetic, and in that time do the most difficult and most important tasks of the day.
Right. And your tips for productivity would be same to figure out like what works for you and on the same lines.
Yeah, I would just say, and
For example, there's a CA student and he is in his articleship phase. And especially, I think the life is the toughest when you are in your articleship phase, because you have to manage your office and then come back home and then your studies. And if you're involved somewhere else, for example, you have some hobbies or something, then time is really a constraint. So how do you advise?
I agree. Articleship is very, very tough, and some days you feel motivated, and some days you don't feel as motivated. So I would say that, like I said, just figure out what works best for you. So when you're coming home, of course, it's important to rest also. Take a few hours to just relax, chill with your family, catch up on whatever you like doing, reading, eating, watching some TV. And then around 9, 9:30, 10, sit down by yourself and figure out if you want to study, if you want to do some research, whatever works for you, but always keep growing and take out 2, 3 hours to do something that really fills your soul, makes you happy. So if that's studying, if that's talking to friends, if that's because it can get, you can get into a rut if you're just going to work, coming home, studying. If you're just going to work, then coming home and studying on the weekends, you have to find something that inspires you, something that motivates you, something that keeps you going. So for me, like, I knew that I have to go for an MBA. So I always used to constantly research on MBA schools and make lists of things that I need to get done for that. So that was my thing to do on a daily basis. So I would take out time to do that. And of course, like I said, it's very important to rest. You can't just be productive and on all the time. Allow yourself to just take some time off as well.
Yeah, and just I think clarity also plays a good role here, to just take out some time and think about stuff.
Yeah,
so that we get a clear vision on that.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So
how
even
is
if
life
that's
in London right now? How are you feeling, and how did London happen basically?
So like I said, I was applying to multiple MBA schools around the world, and when I got through Imperial College in London, London was always my dream. So I didn't think twice. Like, my parents always supported that, and they said, yes, if that's where you want to go, then make it. I made it happen. I got through the school that I wanted to, and I moved here. And then I moved here about 4 years ago, and been here since. It's good. Lockdown rules are up and down like everywhere in the world, but yeah, it's good to be here.
Yeah,
It's difficult being away from family, but yeah.
So you're enjoying there. So you are placed there only in your job, right?
Yeah, so I'm working in central London. Right now we are all working from home. I work as a strategy consultant in a boutique consulting firm.
Yeah. So could you please elaborate a little more on the strategy consultant part, because it is not very, something which many CAs do.
Yeah.
So how is it like? How is the job profile, and what do you do exactly?
So it's very similar in many ways to what we do as an auditor, because I'll tell you why. Because, auditing is also client facing. You're dealing and going to clients' offices on a daily basis, dealing with them, dealing with different people in different tiers of the of management. So it's very similar in consulting as well, in strategy consulting, because you're working in a client's office, you're working on a project for them, which has a deliverable. So similarly, in auditing, your deliverable is an audit report. In strategy consulting, your deliverable could be either a strategy or a plan to implement a strategy, or to give recommendations on how they can run their business better. So it's all those things. And there'll always be a report or some presentation or some workshop that comes out of it. So that's a little bit of strategy consulting. So what I do is basically we go to these clients, we understand what problems they're dealing with, and then we come up with a strategy for them to deal with those problems, and then a plan for implementing that strategy. So that's what we help them. We help them implement the strategy. We set milestones. We set KPIs. We help them track their goals. So that's a very high level way of saying what strategy consulting is.
Yeah. So, is this a profile for a combination of a person who is CA plus MBA, or it can be done when you're just a chartered accountant?
So honestly, in the UK and anywhere in Europe, they don't give a lot of weightage to what you've done in your undergrad and your postgrad. It's all about work experience over here. So I am working with people who are geography honors, who are English honors, who are people who are doctors, and now they're doing consulting. So here it's so different because that's the beauty of consulting, right? You get to work with people who are from different fields, and then you're working on a project. So let's say I'm working on a healthcare client and my colleague is a doctor, so he knows how a healthcare system works. He knows how to consult them, basically how to give them advice. So I don't think there's a short formula or a certain degree you need to have to become a consultant, especially outside of India. So don't think that you need to have a CA degree or you need to have an MBA. You can pivot with anything.
Right. And what is your take on MBA, like after CA? How did it help you, or if it doesn't help, what is your take on it?
So I
Should
think
students go for it or no?
I think, Vanchika, that's a very personal question because it depends on what you want to do in your life. So for me, for example, I didn't want to be an auditor or a tax consultant. I wanted to get into the general management of things. I wanted to know how businesses operate, how business leaders make decisions, what decisions they take to take the business to the next level for growth, for marketing, for whatever.
Yeah.
So that was what I was interested in, and that's why I did an MBA, to get a holistic view of how businesses run. But if you like auditing, if you like working with numbers, if you want to be a hardcore finance person, if you like giving tax advice, then that's your genre, and you should stick to being a CA and getting more experience in that field. So it all depends on a person to person what they're looking for out of their career.
All right.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, of course, definitely. And I hope for the people who are planning for MBA also got their answer. Because, of course, and at the end of the day, we have to think for ourselves that
Yeah.
is it really going to help us in the kind of profile we want to work?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, right. So, Mayor, in today's time, this topic of mental health is very relevant, and I especially want you to talk about it in a little detail because even yesterday I was reading that there's a girl from, I think, Tamil Nadu who committed
Yeah.
suicide because today was the NEET exam and she had to appear for that NEET exam. So, and these cases are suddenly rising, especially amongst the students. They have all those kinds of fears that how will they face their parents if they do not clear so and so exam and all of that. So I would just like a little detailing from your end because I believe that you are the right person who can elaborate on the same. So please go
Yeah.
ahead and tell us about it, that how, like, we all know the feelings and the kind of stress that every person suffers at some point or the other in their lives. So
Yeah.
what should you do? How should you develop that mental state where, sometimes you try to accept that, okay, it is fine. Even if you are not feeling good, it is okay. So I would just like a little detailing from your end.
Yeah, Vanchika, that's a very sensitive topic, and I think I'm so glad that actually these things are being talked about now more often than they were previously, because it's important, and I think everybody deals with them at some point in their lives when they feel mentally low, and it could be on a daily basis, it could be when something significant has happened in their lives. So what I would say is that. If there's something that's bothering you, if you're feeling like you're not doing as well, you have to remember, first of all, you're not alone. There are so many people who are going through the same thing. So remember, like, talk to other people around you. It can be your family, and your family will be concerned about you. So have an honest conversation with your parents, your loved ones. They care about you and they'll understand what you're going through. And I would also say, like, talk to your friends, talk to your peers. Sometimes, like I said, the other person in front of you may be going through the exact same thing sometimes, and we just don't talk to them because we don't communicate. So it's very important to talk to our friends, our loved ones, and if it's really needed, seek professional help as well. Like, there's nothing wrong in seeking professional help and therapy. Like,
And
this is
especially
something
in India, this is kind of stigmatized. that if you're going to a psychiatrist or something, then you have some problem going on, or it is a normal thing.
Yeah, it's normal. Like you go to a doctor who is taking care of your physical body. Similarly, your brain and your mind is a part of your body that needs care and love. And if somebody who is external, who has the relevant certifications, qualifications to be able to guide you for that, then why not? Like there's no harm. And if you're feeling shy about it, don't tell anyone about it. Just talk to your parents and tell them that, I need help, I need to talk to somebody. And what these therapists do, they give you an outsider's perspective, right? Because they don't play a role in your life. Whereas if you talk to maybe a friend, that person may give you a biased opinion sometimes. So that's the role of a therapist. And I think if we can't deal with these feelings by ourselves, there is no harm seeking for help. If you're not getting that help from those around you, it's important to reach out to someone who's professional and who can guide us.
Right. And also about students, what would you advise them? That because of one exam, they're taking so much pressure. So just concerning towards the students, what would you like to suggest?
I would just say, like, there are so many people
And
who've gone
even in
through.
some cases, I'm sorry to interrupt you here, but
Yeah.
in some cases, I have seen personally also in my friends or somewhere that parents are also not very understanding towards this, and especially Indian parents. They are not very receptive of the idea of mental health.
Yeah.
So, in such a scenario where your parent, either your mother or your father, is not able to actually understand the situation and the depth of the matter, then how to go about it? Because if they are
Yeah.
not understanding, then what do you do at that point?
Yeah, I agree with you. That's very difficult. It's very difficult for me to answer that because, luckily, touchwood, I had very supportive parents. So I don't want to say anything that could be, taken the wrong way. But I would say that if there is a parent, or if there is somebody who's not understanding you, there has to be somebody in your family who will. So reach out to that person. It could be your aunt, uncle. It could be your dada, dadi, nana, nani, whoever who will understand you. There has to be somebody who will understand what you're going through, and just have an honest conversation with them and tell them that your parents are putting too much pressure on you, or you're unable to deal with the stress and the trauma that you're going through. There will always be someone around you who can help you. So please, like, literally, it's not just your parents. It could be anybody around you in your family who can help you.
Right.
I hope
Definitely. And
I
I think
hope
this
that's
topic,
yes.
yeah, and I think this topic needs a little more awareness in our society. And I think the only way to go about it is to, for us to talk about it in the normal, like, example, even if we are standing with our friends, we should talk about it. Because otherwise, I don't think there is a way that it will become more relevant and more prevalent as a topic.
Yeah, definitely. We should talk to our best friend and say, yeah, I'm feeling very anxious these days. Yeah, I'm very stressed. And a good friend will always console you. A good friend will always say, yeah, tu to kar legi, tu to kar lega,
Yeah.
you'll get out of it. You're strong. Come on. And then you sort of have to motivate yourself also. Like, if you don't get it externally, you can always reach out internally. Look at people around you who inspire you. Watch their blogs, watch their talks. Find some type of motivation that will keep you going. And just remember, speed bumps happen in life all the time. अगर अभी इतने से हो रहे हो ना, आगे तो पता नहीं क्या क्या होगा. Just remember, like, life is to live. And they say what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. So you are on a path, and it will lead to something fruitful. Something good will come out of it.
Definitely. So, guys, please take all the inputs from this, and I hope we all of us take this matter very, very seriously. All right. So, coming on to the next part, which is the scope of CA abroad.
Yeah.
Okay, without FBA. So, if someone wants to go abroad after completing CA alone as a qualification, not adding
Yeah.
any other qualification, so what is the scope? Like, for example, you can talk about, especially as in case of London.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about people I know who are just CAs because those are live examples in front of me. So my husband works for KPMG, and he has a bunch of colleagues who were working in KPMG India, in branches across India. And what they did was they reached out to their senior management team, and they sort of gave an inclination that they want to work outside of India and get international exposure. So first of all, you have to, if you're a CA in a big four, especially, reach out to your seniors and show them that you're interested. Many times they don't even know that you have that interest. So you have to show your interest that you want to move abroad, get that international experience. And then, of course, you can move from a local branch to an international branch. It can be all around the world. There is scope, of course, but you have to have some type of, company who needs to sponsor your visa. So you can't just land here without a visa sponsorship. So you have to do all of that before you move. So apply on LinkedIn, get in touch with recruiters. The kind of jobs you can do are going to, if you're just a C, are going to be similar to the experience you already have. So if it's auditing, if it's taxation, all those, you will only be able to pivot. So I think if you're changing locations, it's very difficult to change your location as well as change your completely your career 360 degrees. So you'll have to have something that's the same. So for example, I started my job right now in consulting after my MBA, because consulting is the experience I had previously, like as an auditor in KPMG and EY. So if tomorrow I wanted to do something like in marketing, it wouldn't be easy because I didn't have that experience previously. So think of, if you're wanting to change your location, it will be important to remember that what you're doing currently in your home country is what you'll have to start with in a new country. And then, of course, you can always pivot afterwards. But yeah, you can always get into accounting, auditing, taxation. Indian CAs are in all these jobs across the UK. And then, of course, if you want to be a signing auditor or a signing partner, then you'll have to take the local exams to switch your degree to an international degree.
Right. Okay, so that was about the professional aspect. Now we will touch a little on your personal aspect as well. So I'm sure that since you have launched this MSB Vision and all of this, and you're working so hard on all these things, so I'm sure that you must be into reading books as well.
Yes.
So I would just like to know about a few books that actually had an impact on you, and that happened to change your life in some way or the other, and which can guide the youth as well.
The biggest book that has completely changed the way I think has been The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I don't know if you read it. It's about The Secret, which is all about the law of attraction. It's a very short book. I would recommend every person reading it because it's just so it's a very subtle story, but it makes you think about life in a different way. So it just talks about how every low in your life is going to lead to something. Something bigger that's in store for you, and the universe has a plan for you. So I would say anyone who wants to develop some type of positive mindset, positive thinking, please do read The Alchemist. It'll change your life. Other than that, there's a book called Mindset by Dr. Carol. She talks about having the difference between fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And that's another book I would recommend, because growth mindset people are those who want to constantly keep learning, and they learn from their failures also. Whereas a fixed mindset person thinks that मैं तो इतना intelligent हूँ, मेरी life में तो कुछ अच्छा हो ही नहीं सकता, मेरी life में इतना ही हो सकता है. So that's a fixed way of thinking, versus a growth way of thinking is, okay, it's okay, I failed once, I'm going to come out stronger, I'm going to learn, and I'm going to do better next time. So that's the second book. Otherwise, there are lots of books on productivity, etc.
Yeah, no, but I'm sure that a suggestion from your side would be much, much better. And Alchemist I've read personally. So
Did you like
give it a heads up, because it is a wonderful book, and especially, the connection of dots and everything that, what you're willing, you send it to the universe and it comes back in some way or the other. So it is definitely a very good book. And all of you guys, please go ahead and read that book.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. So maybe a suggestion to your younger self. Which you probably, when you were maybe 18-year-old or 21-year-old, so your own younger self, you would like to give that particular suggestion.
So many things, Vanshika. I wish I could go back in time and tell my younger self.
Yeah.
I think I was a very shy student. I was a very shy first-time employee. I was just 20 when I started working at KPMG, and I was excited. I was happy about it. But I wish I could go back and say that believe in yourself, have confidence, ask questions, learn from your seniors, and just everything works out. Everything works out. So just hold your head high and keep going. That's what I would say.
And
like,
sometimes we take this undue pressure also. And every question gets answered in its due course of time.
Of course, like they say, eventually the dots connect, and all the dots do connect. But yeah, I would just tell my younger self to just have faith and keep going, and learn from your mistakes, learn from your failure, and be confident. I really wish I was a little more confident than I really was.
Wonderful, Meher. So that is all from my side. So now we will move on to the next part of the session, which is the questions from our live audience.
Yes.
So I'll just open the question tab and take a few questions.
Yeah, I think some of them came a little while ago.
Yeah. Guys, you can also put your questions in the question tab so that we can take them up here, because it will be easier for me that way. Okay, so Aisha asks, how to master any profession? What other skills should we learn to get a better idea of it? To get better always.
Oh wow. Okay. Any profession. I think you need to build your people and communication skills, because that's necessary in any job you do. Anything you'll do, you'll be dealing with people and you'll be communicating with them. So become good at just having a conversation, asking questions, asking them about their life, asking them about their challenges, just holding a conversation and talking about yourself with confidence. And that I always talk about preparing like an elevator pitch of who you are, what do you stand for, what is important to you, what are you looking for. And that's just like a 60-second to 90-second short introduction about who you are, and practice that regularly. And it should just be on the tip of your tongue, because you should be able to, somebody asks you, oh, what do you do, why did you start whatever you're doing right now, why are you doing what you're doing, you should remember that right then and there. And those are things we can practice on a daily basis. So I think relationship building, communication, just the way we are standing, the way we are talking, our body language, all of that is important and necessary in any job.
Right. So I hope, Aisha, your question is answered. Okay. Ma'am, did you give your IPCC after BCom? Dinesh is asking.
During my BCom, I gave my IPCC during my BCom, because they were at the same time. So my IPCC was in May beginning, and BCom second year exams were same month at the end of the month. I think anybody who's looking for any motivation, please watch Gary Vee Talks. He really can inspire you and tell you that, you got to hustle, you got to work. There is no other way around success. Like, there is no shortcut to success. If you need anything, if you want any of your dreams to come through, you have to put in the work. So that's how he's inspired me to really go out there and just work the hardest I can every single day.
Okay, next is by Arjun. He asks, how do you manage your job and side hustle together?
Oh, Arjun, it's so challenging because I love what I'm doing on the side, but I have to work as well. What I do is, so I have a team of two very smart individuals who help me manage it now. So we keep each other on our toes. We have separate responsibilities, and we catch up every week, and we're constantly on touch on WhatsApp. So what we do is, they tell me what I need to get done by the end of the day, and then we keep each other, informed. And then I take out an hour or so in the evening to get all my tasks done. And weekends are all about just MSB stuff. Because here, luckily, they have a very nice work-life balance rule. Nobody works beyond 6 o'clock and nobody works on weekends.
Okay, that's
so
wonderful.
So I get a lot of time to do other things.
Yeah, you also stay there.
All right.
You were the first one.
Okay,
I think there was a
getting to
question
core
about
fin-
social media
Sorry?
distraction. I was just saying that I saw a question about social media distraction.
Okay, yes, you can of course take that up because it is a very, very relevant one.
Yeah, so for social media distraction, guys, this is something I also suffered with, and I still suffer on a daily basis. So what I would say is, please keep your phone on airplane mode in the other room when you're studying. Please, there is no other way. If you're doing anything productive, your phone cannot be around you. It just cannot. And if you need your phone around you, please switch off notifications on your WhatsApp, on your Instagram, on your Facebook. And before your exams, I would recommend deleting all the apps. You don't need them on your phone. Unless if you really need to have them, then please just pick it up in your break time. Don't keep your phone in the same room.
Right. And also, I think even if you don't keep your phone in your room, that also helps. Put it somewhere else for the time being you're studying.
Yeah, like just confiscate it for yourself. Keep it in another drawer on airplane mode.
Yeah.
And then in your break, pick it up, connect with your friends, connect on social media. But at that time, don't do anything.
All right. Okay, so Priya is asking, how can a CA move to UK and what profiles to apply for? How to go about it?
I think we just covered this.
Yeah, we've
Vanshika.
already covered it. So, Priya, you can go back and watch the saved video in our IGTV section and you will get your question answered. Okay,
Yeah.
so next is
Just
factors you took into consideration for MBA.
factors as in like
Yeah,
why I
that's a
wanted to
little
do
ambiguous question.
or how I chose the school. I guess maybe that's what we can cover, Vanchika.
Maybe the person can write that question again so that we get a little bit more clarity on the same topic.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, yeah. Okay, so fittest auditor is asking average salary that is being offered to you after graduating from London, IC London.
I think that's a very personal question. but I would say यहाँ पे salary ज़्यादा है क्योंकि expenses भी ज़्यादा है ना. So I would say it's at the same par as somebody who would be in India after an MBA and CA. So it's the same level, same package you can expect.
Okay, how to manage regular college with CA, Dinesh?
Regular college with CA. I think it's really cool that you're continuing with regular college because you don't want to regret leaving college later because a lot of people do that, you know, कि मैंने college क्यों छोड़ा यार CA करने के लिए. So it's good. Find a balance. Like even when you start your articleship, you know, have dedicated time to give to your studying. Don't neglect any of your classes. So reach out to your CA friends who are probably not in college, catch up with them, take their notes, take their help, and then study in the evenings for 2-3 hours. College is only till 4-5 o'clock maximum. Come home, study for a few hours before your dinner, and then on weekends dedicate more time to your CA studies.
So again, that gets covered under the time management part.
Yeah.
So as students, as professionals, I think in every phase of life, this time management part is very, very relevant.
Yeah. Anything you're doing in your life, Vanshika, I think you'll need to be a good time manager. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, right?
Okay, so the next question is by Anushka, and she asks, is it okay to get knowledge and learn other skills sitting at home at this time? And what would you recommend to learn at this point of time in lockdown?
Wow, that's brilliant. I think you should constantly keep learning. So figure out what are you interested in and pick up any course, online course on that. So maybe like I saw another question which was about learning a foreign language. That's great. I think you should definitely do that. There is a free app called Duolingo that's about learning foreign languages, and it's super interactive, super easy. So yeah, learn a language, or let's say you want to learn programming. There are so many courses that you can do online. I would say just pick up anything that interests you. It could be singing, playing the guitar. It could be anything that you're interested in, and just do a course on that. Unless if you're looking for something to accelerate your career, then find specific courses in that. Yeah.
And also, I think this is the correct time to go and follow your hobbies also, because otherwise we are always complaining that we don't get enough time and all of that.
Yeah, definitely. I think everybody's social media pages have grown during this time because everyone has so much more time to create content and, you know, connect with their audiences. And audiences are also like having so many options to look at so much content these days. So yeah, there's a lot of information out there.
Right. Okay, so there's one question about communication skills also. So
Yeah. What's the
person
question?
is saying that your communication skills are so good. So how did you work on it, and what advice do you give to your juniors regarding improvement?
Okay. I want to tell you that my communication skills were not always very good. So everybody can improve their communication skills. I was one of those shy students in school. You know, I never raised my hand to ask any question or talk to any teacher. I was not like that. So I think for communication, if you're trying to become more confident, start in your comfort zone. So start talking more at your social events, with your family, with your friends. It could be a simple thing like giving a speech for someone, you know, just practice that. And then practice in front of the mirror. very regularly, strong sentences, and listen to other people who you inspire, who you look up to, because you learn a lot about how they talk, how they present themselves, and then practice that, try to replicate it. And then I think with practice only we build our confidence. And the last thing I would say is stop caring about what people are thinking about you. If we care about what people are thinking, we'll never show confidence. And literally, I feel the most confident when I don't care, and I feel the most conscious when I'm aware of who's looking at me, who's judging me. You just have to stop caring.
Right. So Meher, that was all from our side, and I think I've taken all the relevant questions that were there. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming here, and it was a pleasure hosting you and getting so many valuable insights from your end.
That's so nice of you, Vanshika. Thank you for having me, and what you guys are doing is amazing. If anybody has any other questions, please feel free to reach out to
you
me.
can type here and we can take them up.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you everyone. I think, is it necessary to do BCom? What?
Before CA, because everyone here are feeling you need to do
Yeah.
BCom and then only CA. You don't pass CA. I would strongly recommend having an undergraduate degree along with your CA. It doesn't have to be BCom. It can be any course. But please, you need to be a graduate, because like in your message, if you don't clear your CA, or even if you want to do a master's afterwards, many universities and institutions recognize only the graduation degree as you having cleared college, and CA as an additional professional course. So please, 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 you have to do an undergraduate degree with CA.
Right. Okay, does less practical exposure affect job interview? How to compensate that?
Practical exposure, like I think that means any practical experience, like work experience.
Yeah, working somewhere.
I think first job, no, people who are interviewing for your first job, they'll know that you don't have any work experience because it's your first job, but you can always try and get like other volunteering experience, or things that of leadership you've done in your college, in your school. So try to highlight those in your interview, things when you have stood out and done more than everyone else. And then I think you just build your experience from there. But yeah, look for opportunities around you which you could be doing on the side. And that doesn't have to be a paying job. It could be you helping a family member with their business, or volunteering at an NGO. Any cause like Vanshika, what you're doing right now on the side, this could look great on your resume, right? So things like that, when you have gone above and beyond everyone else, that's what you need on your CV.
Yeah, and thank you so much for your constant appreciation for fraternity. It means a lot to all of us, and I'm sure the extended fraternity team as well. So thank you so much for your constant appreciation.
Thank you for having me.
Khushi says, I have issues committing myself to CA. I am losing focus with COVID times. So how to get back in the game?
Khushi, I think everyone goes through that. Not every day can you be as productive as you are. You go through ups and downs no matter what you're doing. So I would say if you're getting irritated, if you're feeling disconnected, just like take a break for 3-4 days. Don't study at all. Don't think about it. Do things you enjoy, and then get back to it after a few days and pick yourself up, pick up your books, find interesting ways to learn and study. You'll just like take a break and then get back to it. That's what I would say. But remember, everybody's going through these COVID times. Yeah, we're all trying our best to stay productive.
And we all have to survive in this only now. So there's no other option.
This is the way it's going to be for the next year or two. So we got to get used to the new way of living. Life can't stop, right?
The new normal.
The new normal, yes.
Yeah. All right. So I think we've taken up everything. Thank you so much, Meher, for coming, and very, very pleased to have you.
Same. Thank you for having me. We'll be in touch.
Yeah, of course, of course. Thank you everyone for watching us today on Sunday. So, thank you all. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Bye, Meher. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, Vanshika.